It's Thursday, the 21st of July, and welcome to From the South. Members of the Sente Teachers Union were in the streets of Mexico City again today. They marched to the Ministry of the Interior, where members will sit down for a further dialogue with the government, in the hopes of finding a resolution to the ongoing conflict.
The Honduran University student movement is preparing several cultural activities that will take place today afternoon and during the night as a celebration after the announcement of the university's board of directors that they will cancel the criminal accusations against 75 student leaders that have been involved in the protests against privatization in the last 2 months. This could be the beginning of a dialogue in which the students could be taken in consideration in the university's government. They have been demanding this to stop what they call a privatization process and also to amplify the democracy inside the university. Gerardo Torres, teleSur's, Honduras.
Argentine worker cooperatives hit the streets of Buenos Aires on Wednesday, protesting layoffs and the suspension of government housing projects. The projects were to be built by the cooperatives, but the move has left 35,000 people without work. The co-ops also protested utility rate hikes, which are threatening their survival. They demand government measures to fix the situation. President Mauricio Macri has unleashed a wave of austerity since coming to office in December. Turkey's parliament has formally approved a 3-month state of emergency in the country following the July 15th failed military coup. According to President Tayyip Erdogan, this will enable the authorities to move swiftly and effectively to root out the coup's supporters. 8 soldiers who fled to Greece from Turkey after the failed coup attempt have been found guilty of entering Greece illegally. The court handed down a 2-month suspended sentence for each of them. The soldiers are applying for asylum and will be interviewed by the Greek authorities next week. Despite months of nationwide protests, France's National Assembly officially adopted President François Hollande's controversial labour reforms. Organised labour and student groups have long contended that the law will only serve to lower the French standard of living, one of the highest in the world. During a speech at the party convention in Cleveland on Wednesday, Texas Senator Ted Cruz failed to endorse Donald Trump as the U.S. Republican nominee. Cruz, who came in second to Trump in the race for the Republican nomination, defended his actions, saying that he is not in the habit of supporting someone who attacks his family.
The Syrian army has achieved remarkable progress and has been closing in on the Islamic State group, the Nusra Front, and countless other extremist groups in the old city of Aleppo. They have made progress despite repeated attempts from these militants to break the Syrian army's defenses.
It's clear that the Syrian army has advanced in Aleppo in northern Syria on all its fronts, starting from the strategic area of Castello and in Liramon and on the factory line in Khalidiyya. This has allowed them to carry out this heavy siege on the terrorists inside the neighborhoods of the city of Aleppo.
In the same city of Aleppo, an individual belonging to the Nuruddin al-Zinki movement, which is backed by the United States, kidnapped a 13-year-old injured child and killed him in front of the cameras. This has prompted the US to announce its intention of withdrawing support from the movement.
The killing and slaughtering of children is something that is completely deplorable, and it shows that they are not a moderate opposition, as they claim. We also do not believe the United States will stop supporting them, because the U.S. presence in the region is associated with the presence of these terrorist organizations.
The bombing of civilians, kidnapping, killing, fear, and terror policy have been the tactics of the armed opposition, particularly in presence of Syrian army progress in the region. 4 civilians have been killed by these groups and 40 more wounded in Aleppo just in the last 24 hours. Hazem Abdullah, teleSur's, Syria.
Pressure is mounting on Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak after calls for his resignation over allegations that $1 billion was siphoned from Malaysia's state-owned 1MDB investment fund to purchase luxury items. The country's former leader said citizens should peacefully push for a referendum on Razak's leadership. The health ministry in Gaza stages a sit-in protest marking the 2nd anniversary of Israel's attack on the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital during Operation Protective Edge on the Strip in 2014.
Dozens of Palestinian health workers in the Gaza Strip staged a sit-in protest Thursday morning at the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza Strip. The action marked the second anniversary of Israel's deadly attack on the hospital during its aggression on the coastal region in 2014. The director of the hospital, Dr. Jamal Khattab, delivered a press conference in which he urged the international community to provide protection for health centers and medical crews in Gaza during wartime.
We urge international and human rights organizations to provide protection for the operating health facilities in Gaza and their crews, to compel the occupation to respect international laws and to Geneva's Fourth Convention, and to criminalize Israel's inhumane practices against the Palestinian medical crews.
On July 21, 2014, an Israeli army shell hit the third floor of the hospital that holds an intensive care unit and operating rooms without warning. It killed 5 people and wounded at least 50. The health sector in the blockaded strip faced increasing assault from Israeli attacks during the 50-day conflict. 15 hospitals and 43 clinics were damaged. 45 ambulances were specifically targeted by Israeli forces, causing injuries and fatalities among paramedics. It has been 2 years now since the war ended. However, the health sector in Gaza is still in critical condition. The reconstruction and the rehabilitation of health facilities has only made moderate progress due to the shortage of reconstruction materials and lack of funding. Noharazin Tisu TV, Gaza.
Brazilian police have arrested 10 members of a group alleged to be preparing acts of terrorism. The Olympic Games will begin in 2 weeks. They are not members of the Islamic State group, but according to officials, they had tried to make contact with the group. The military will begin to patrol sports venues. More on this and other news on our website telesurtv.net/English.